Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host Khalid Moeddin, and this is the show where we talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. Now, as you can see, we've launched our magazine this December edition, and we're quite excited about it because of some of the amazing articles that were in this magazine and in this issue. So the main cover story was done by Ngama, and it's about Temba Bavuma. And he really got into the nitty-gritty with Temba. He really got into a very personal conversation with Temba where he actually revealed a lot about himself and about his thinking processes going into the World Cup, and especially in white ball cricket, and how he sees himself as a batsman and as a performer for the Proteas. Please go check that article out. It's quite an extraordinary article that he speaks about over there. And it's quite awesome for us to be able to speak about the different things that are in this particular issue. So I've launched, obviously, this particular video with that conversation, but I know that you guys are watching these videos. About 46% of you are watching it without subscribing. So please click on the subscribe button, click that notification bell for all future videos. So let's get back into the topic. As you know, that we did launch our magazine, and I spoke about Temba a little bit earlier in this video. What we also spoke about is the winning mentality and how to build a winning mentality. And the entire issue is centered around this particular theme. You'll see that there is some sort of, I could say, there are some sort of similarities with regards to the way we go with themes in the magazine. We try to theme every single magazine around a specific topic. And we try to give you guys some insightful and different opinions on it. So for this particular issue, it's all about a winning mentality and how we're going to build a winning mentality with a World T20 in mind. Obviously, the World T20 will be in India, and all of us know, in October in 2021. A lot of us are going to be talking about that leading up to this. Every single white ball game we play, we're going to be chatting about this. We've seen how we were quite in depth with our preview and our review shows for this particular T20 series. Alas, the ODI series has been cancelled and they have postponed it. And that's what they have said in the press release that was released today, that they have postponed it, and they're discussing on when they will obviously have that, because it's obviously part of the championship that is taking place. So they're going to have to postpone these games to another time. It's unfortunate that this has happened, and it's because of the corona outbreak. At first, it was the South Africans that were testing positive, but then obviously you know about the English players that also tested positive, and it has really caused a little bit of a stir amongst us in the media. There was obviously also an article on ESPN Cricinfo that was released about the training conditions at the Newland Square not being conducive for the players, and some of them were upset about it and actually went to go train in a separate nets, and there's now conversations going on that about whether that was safe and whether that might have been the cause of players picking up corona or not. So I want you guys, to know your opinions after you've read it. Let us know on social media, tag us in the post, and give us your opinion on that particular article that was written on ESPN Cricinfo. But let's get back into the magazine, because I really want to have some positivity going over here. We'll be talking. The magazine obviously spoke about a winning mentality, and we had Chris Chiwanza, who wrote an amazing piece interviewing the convener of selectors. And also he took some quotes from the likes of Enoch, and he gave some amazing insights into what it takes to build a winning team, and especially from a convener's perspective and how he looks at it. So check that article out as well in the magazine. We also had an amazing off the field with Baya Swanepoel. He's a very talented player that a lot of players might know about, because some of you guys might know about him, but you'll get to know him a bit better off the field and what he's like as a personality. Nabila wrote that piece, and she did an excellent job on that one. So go check that piece out as well. We also have a regular crosswords that he's been doing on a regular basis. So that's also quite awesome that you can go have a check and have a look out on that. You can go try and see if you can solve it. And if you look at the back issues, there's crosswords to obviously go in the back issues as well. Go check out the back issues as well. There's some awesome themes in the other back issues as well. Then obviously we had my particular article, which leads with the editorial and the editor's note, and that is all about the brand of cricket and how important it is to South Africa. How important is it to world cricket? How are we going to be sitting with a team, and how are we going to build towards that? obviously I couldn't get all the writers on the show, but there was one particular article that we got, and he made his debut not only on the site and not only on in the magazine, but he made his debut on in both. And he spoke about Proteo Fire, basically that we mustn't lose that Proteo Fire, and that what we can learn from England when they went through a difficult period. So I'm going to bring him on the show quickly to give you an insight into his article and what brought him to like that particular article. So welcome to the show, Aaron. Excellent to
Hello,
hear
mate.
from you again. I think the people on Cricket Fanatics magazine are getting quite used to your face.
Yeah, unfortunately for them. Apologies, viewers. Apologies. It's not the greatest face to become accustomed to, but yeah.
So just give me some insight quickly into your particular
Sorry, Harley, your internet cut off then. But in terms of my article, then, pretty much. Actually, you already said it. I think you actually summed it up quite nicely. It's just the fact that I look at some South Africa fans now, and it seems as though almost all hope's lost. It seems though there's what to say, a severe lack of optimism almost in the Cricket South Africa fraternity. And I know because I've almost been through this. 2015 for England fans was absolutely rock bottom. It was absolutely horrendous. And when you think just 4 years later, the turnaround, and then of course that glorious night, that Sunday evening on the 14th of July at the home of cricket, it almost made it all worth it. So that was kind of the underlying message of it. And of course, we as fans, I think sometimes we don't realise just how important we are. The fact is, if guys are struggling, we can actually bring them back up. We can get these guys back on form, and we actually are important to this sport. And that's where cricket is different from like football or rugby, for example. We actually have a direct impact on our sport in a way in which a lot of other fans don't. So yeah, that's the underlying message. And obviously I'm in my Proteas jersey tonight now that the England series has finished or been postponed, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like there just needs to be a bit more optimism. And I know it's difficult. Okay, I'm not saying that we should all go out there and, I don't know, as I said in the article, support every single decision that CSA makes. But I just feel like in terms of these players, they need a bit more support. They're having a hard time. Let's pick them back up now as fans.
Yeah. So guys, please go read that article. It's in cricketfanaticsmag.com. Obviously, you can look at the link is in the description for you to go download that magazine. But Aaron, just give me your thoughts on the series being postponed. Obviously, how disappointed are you about that? I mean, I think both of us are. We know there's a lot of banter going around between us for a long time about England and South Africa, but with regards to not being able to see something, because I mean, you're a guy that supports kind of both teams in a way, but when England plays, obviously England's your first team. But I mean, you like both sides, and this must be one of your favorite series, isn't it not?
Well, obviously, other than Australia, the Ashes are the absolute pinnacle. But yeah, I love England South Africa series. In fact, I said it last year, if you remember, Khalid, in the Test series. I feel like these kind of series bring out the best of both nations because both of our countries fight incredibly hard, no matter what sport we play. I mean, obviously, you'll say the rugby. We've got the cricket, of course. But yeah, I do love an England South Africa series. And of course, I'm massively disappointed. But at the end of the day, my disappointment is almost pale in comparison to the health concerns. So it was a really, really difficult decision. Of course, it's disappointing for us as fans, but it was the right call. The fact is these guys, in particular the England team, have to get home for their families for the festive season. I mean, I believe if they're positive, they have to spend another 14 days or something in South Africa. And then, of course, you've got to get back. You've got to buy another chartered flight. That costs a lot of money for the ECB. So disappointing, yes. Was it the right call? Also, yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of insight. Obviously, there's a lot of opinions about the why we did what we did with regards to hotels, etc., and having it at the venue and then moving between stadiums. Let's give people insight into particularly England and why it worked. The bio bubble worked so well there. I mean, I heard from I think Mike Atherton said it on SuperSport as well. He said that you guys have hotels on your premises.
Yes, that's correct. So at the Rose Bowl, we have obviously Aegeus, which has the Hilton, and then I think it's the exact same at Emirates Old Trafford, to be fair, but they are on site, so you don't have to cross the road. You don't even have to cross the road. You're literally in the ground 24 hours a day, for 7 days a week if you need to be. So that is one massive difference. And another key difference here in relation to international cricket, I believe it was £400,000 was spent per series on sanitation alone. So the hand washing, I know it's an incredible amount of money. But yeah, if you compare that to other cricket boards, of course, not some of the cricket boards won't have that money. And I say some, probably most, knowing the way in which cricket money is distributed. But yeah, that's probably why. To be fair, though, everyone's saying about the ECB, when we didn't have biosecure bubbles, we did actually have a match abandoned between Gloucester and Northants. So, of course, I
Okay.
think that was also quite interesting. Of course, that actually showed the effectiveness of these biosecure bubbles. But yeah, of course, it's tremendously difficult. South Africa don't have the same amount of money to spend on sanitation. I mean, that is preposterous. That cost £800,000. Don't know what that is to rand. I can't do the maths right now. But yeah, I think that's it, to be honest. It's just a, what to say, a relation between both money and, of course, on-site hotels.
Cool. I just want to ask you one more question, and that is about our cover story. And I don't know if you've read it yet, but just particularly your thoughts about Temba Bavuma, because we decided to make the brave call to make to put Temba on the cover. And obviously, the title of the story is he wants to take more responsibility. And I just wanted to get your thoughts on Temba. There's going to be a lot of people are divided about it at the moment, but you as an England fan, how do you look at him? How do you assess him, and how do you judge him or rate him?
Well, first of all, I just want to say, great cover story. And I think it's actually quite nice to see Temba finally get some plaudits. See, as an England fan, obviously I'm speaking from the outside in almost here. I'm speaking from an outsider's perspective. But as a cricket fan, I really like Temba Bavuma. I don't really see what he's done wrong. In particular in T20 cricket, I know there's a lot of talk about South Africa's openers in general to partner Quinton de Kock, who's one of the very, very finest batsmen in world cricket right now. But Temba, before this series, he was averaging 49 with a very, very good strike rate of over 140. So, in my view, definitely someone who I think deserves a lot more recognition. I feel like, of course, because South Africa have those options, maybe people have their own favourites. I mean, you've got Rees, you've got Yana Malan, who's a fantastic young batsman coming through as well. But yeah, I do feel almost, what to say, almost sad for him sometimes. I feel quite sympathetic towards him because in his career, he hasn't really done anything wrong. He's a solid choice. He's a solid batsman. He's got a good technique, good temperament. And in my view, I quite like him. But of course, feel free to disagree with that. I suppose that's the beauty of cricket. Everyone has their own particular favourites. But for me, I really like Temba Bavuma. And I feel like if South Africa are willing to be patient with him, in particular in T20 cricket alongside Quinton de Kock, I feel like it will pay off very, very nicely.
Cool. So thanks a lot, Aaron, for coming on the show and explaining what you're giving your thoughts on some of the topics in the magazine, of course, and obviously in world cricket that is happening with South Africa at the moment. Guys, if you want to read Aaron's article, it's an exceptional article, the way he describes different things and his experiences. Go click on that link on the screen or in the description for that. So thanks a lot, Aaron, for coming on the show. I'll chat to you again soon.
Mate. Of course, mate. See ya. And of course, the viewers, subscribe.
See you. With regards to the next article that I really want to talk about is Aditya's article. Now, he also made his debut on the show as well. So with regards to the magazine I'm talking about now, it's his first article in the magazine. And what he spoke about was something very interesting. He spoke about an outsider's view on why South Africa fails at World Cups. So I'm going to get him on the show quickly for him to explain this article to you. So guys, please go and subscribe to the magazine to go read his article. Aditya, I'm going to ask you now not to give too many spoilers away, but welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, so just explain to me what it was like to write your article, the research that went behind it, etc.
A large part of why I wrote the article comes from my observations watching South African cricket since I've been growing up. And, you hear all of these things about, big match temperament, failing in knockout games, that sort of thing. And I feel like surely there has to be more to it. It's not like I find it very hard to believe that 2015 World Cup semi-final against New Zealand and AB de Villiers misses a run-out opportunity. Surely he's not thinking about the scars of 1999. I think, when the ball is coming at you at 140, 150 k's per hour, you're focused in the moment. So where does it really come from? And I do think that Kevin Peterson, who I've quoted extensively in the article, when he said cricket is a team game played by 11 individuals. I think that's been missing in South African cricket. And somewhere I think the overarching team objective has clamped down on individual flair, individual spirit, or just the desire to work. And the thing is, it's actually like, I talk a lot about the structured approach to cricket, and that's worked for South Africa. But if you look closely at the results, it's worked for them mainly in Test cricket. And I guess it's something to do with the way bowlers are trained to play Test cricket. Dale Steyn has been trained to bowl that good length delivery and swing it away from the batsman, and he can do it day in and day out. He can do it all day long. But the same thing in T20 cricket and now in one-day cricket, that becomes predictable. And that's why you saw Dale Steyn get hit the way he did in the IPL. So there has to be a change from that approach.
Yeah, of course, there must be. And you gave some insight into Herschel Gibbs as well. I mean, can you give me some of your thoughts about Herschel specifically?
Missed the sound.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I can. Yeah.
Can you hear me fine? Okay, cool. Sorry, yeah, there's been some problems with the connection, guys. So I'm really sorry about that. You made some references to Herschel Gibbs.
Yeah.
And I wanna ask you about that. What was your experience reading his book, etc.? What sort of things did you pick out of him? I know that they in the article, so don't give away too much on the article. But what are some of the things that you picked out on that South African can learn from?
From what I've read, I've watched Herschel Gibbs a lot over the years. And it always appeared that he always felt more like an Australian cricketer than a South African cricketer in a lot of ways. He didn't fit that stereotype. And in a lot of ways, I just think he was ahead of his years. I don't think South Africa was. If Herschel Gibbs had come on the scene in 2004, 2005, when A.B. de Villiers did, I think South Africa would have made a lot more use of his talent, his flair.
Mm-hmm.
And up until that point, like today, if you look at the top 5 South African batsmen in World Cups, it's Herschel Gibbs, Callis, de Villiers, Faf du Plessis, and Lance Klusener as all-rounder. So, like, Faf du Plessis to me he's got that template that fits the South African template. Where he can consolidate and then he can attack. Herschel Gibbs was the guy who really started that, that attacking brand of cricket.
Yeah.
And again, South Africa missed a trick by sort of not latching onto that. I think if they had really sort of adopted that, being more open to his way of playing. He often says with great frustration in his book that, in the T20 World Cup in 2010, when the team was said that, bat a bit more conservatively in the first 6 overs, he said if the same advice was given to David Warner and Shane Watson, they were doing their level best to avoid it. So, he talks a lot about, the fear of failure that seems to be plaguing South African cricket.
I think that's the main thing that's been playing, like whole choking mentality and all of that has crept in. So everybody is so scared to fail. Yeah.
But I don't think it's individually a fear of failure that's plaguing South African cricket. I think that comes from somewhere. And in my view, I might be totally wrong, but in my view, it comes from the way that cricketers have been trained from their childhood. Because at the end of the day, Graham Smith has played 100 test matches. He's a strong personality. No coach can tell him that this is how you have to play.
Mm-hmm.
He has to buy into that philosophy, and the only way that he can buy into more conservative brand of cricket is if he's brought up playing that way. And so, at some stage, we talk a lot about players and the choker stack, and the players not having big match temperament. But it's also important to look at how the game is taught to South Africans.
Yeah.
Ricky Ponting, he talks about his days growing up, and when he was at the High Performance Center in Adelaide, Rod Marsh literally got all the group together, and he said to them that if you can't score 350 days in a test match, you need to go find another profession. That's how those guys were brought up playing. That's how those guys were brought up playing.
Yeah. I mean, Omar Henry actually mentioned it to me when we had conversations. He says that the way South Africa play needs to be changed right from grassroots level through school level, through everybody's mentality has to be changed. You can kind of see that. I feel personally, this is my opinion. I've seen it in New Zealand rugby, where all the teams right through the system play the same brand of football and over the years, and that's kind of what they did. But anyway, the Australians do that too in their system. I feel the Australians they have the same mindset in every single games they play. But guys, that's what Aditya wrote about in his particular article. I want you guys to go check that article out. It's actually a very awesome article and a very insightful and in-depth article. The link is on the screen and in the description. So thanks a lot, Aditya, for coming on the show. We'll chat obviously again soon, and it was really nice talking to you.
Pleasure, bro. Cheers.
Thank you, man. See you. So guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Click that notification bell for all future videos. As I said, we launched the new issue of the magazine today. It's all about building a winning mentality. So that's on our website right now. You can go to download the latest magazine, cricketfanaticsmag.com/monthly magazine, or you can go into the link in the description and you can get it. It's free, and you can get all the back issues also for free. If you have a business and you're looking to make sales online, even if your business is offline, there's a free video on this channel that you can go have a look at. So click on that link in the description and you can learn how to do so. Thanks a lot for everybody for watching. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And we'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, everyone.